History of freediving. Scientists have begun to believe that we humans spent many millions of years of our evolutionary development living a semi-aquatic existence. Standing on two legs in the shallows in order to breathe and evade land-bound predators, our hairy forebears used their hands to gather a bounty of easily harvested food, high in protein and omega oils, that helped to facilitate brain development. As a theory, the idea of the aquatic ape helps to explain the layer of subcutaneous fat we have under our skin to keep us warm, the way our fingertips wrinkle after extended time in the water, making it easier to grip things under the water, and of course, which enables us to free dive deeper, safer, and longer. Studies have also shown that if we trained early enough, our eyes can adapt to seeing underwater. Ancient history. Humans have been free diving for food for at least 8,000 years. Archaeologists investigating the mummified remains of the Chinchorrean, an ancient peoples that lived circa 6000 BC in what is today Chile, found them to have suffered from exostosis, the condition where the bones of the ear canal start to grow across the opening to help protect the eardrum from repeated exposure to cold water, also known as surfer's ear. In 332 BC, Alexander the Great famously used freedivers to dismantle the underwater bombs preventing his ships from entering the harbor during the siege of Tyre. Sponge divers and the birth of modern diving. In 1913, a Greek sponge diver, Stati Eorius, dived to over 60 meters to locate the missing anchor of the pride of the Italian Navy, the Regina Margherita. Stati was weakened by a pulmonary emphysema and half-deaf from perforated eardrums. He dived for over 3 minutes, getting to depth by holding onto a giant rock and tying a rope around his waist so he could be pulled back to surface, a very primitive form of no-limits freediving. In 1927, Jacques Omochal invented the first mask designed to enclose the nose, and in 1938, Maxima Forat improved it, using a compressible rubber pouch to cover the nose that enabled divers to pinch shut their nostrils, making it easier to equalize the pressure in their ears. Louis de Colliot patented fins in 1933 as swimming propellers. In 1951, a physics student and diver called Hugh Bradner developed the first wetsuit from neoprene and was used by Marines in the Korean War. 1949 was the birth of modern free diving as we know it, when Raimondo Buscher dove 30 meters to the bottom of the sea near Naples on a wager. Scientists confidently predicted he'd die from the crushing pressure at that depth, but he returned to surface unscathed and 50,000 lire better off. The modern free diving pioneers. Bob Croft, a U.S. Navy diving instructor, spent 25 hours a week in a 30-meter deep tank teaching submariners how to escape from stricken submarines. There he began breath hold training and could soon hold his breath for over 6 minutes. These amazing abilities got him a job for Navy scientists looking to discover if the phenomenon known as blood shift, which had been witnessed in diving mammals, could happen in humans. Croft also developed the technique of lung packing, forcing extra air into his lungs prior to a dive or breath hold. Croft became the first person to dive beyond 64 meters, the depth scientists believe was the physiological depth limit for freediving. He would go on to reach a depth of 73 meters in 1968. Enzo Maiorca achieved his first world record in 1960 with a dive to 45 meters, and in 1962 became the first person to break the 50-meter mark. And in 1988, he achieved a dive to 101 meters. The Big Blue, the film by Luc Besson, fictionalized the competitive relationship between Enzo Maiorca and Jacques Mayol. Jacques, a Frenchman, was the first person to break the 100-meter barrier, and he also served as a test subject for science, demonstrating that his heartbeat decreased from 60 beats per minute to 27 during that dive. However, in 1988, Italian Angelina Bandini stunned the world with a 107-meter dive. Free diving as a sport. The world of competitive free diving lifted many more divers to prominence in the 90s and continues to do so in the present day. We don't have room to name them all and their incredible achievements, but save 5 for Tanya Streeter, Umberto Pelizarri, Natalia Molchanova, William Trubridge, and Herbert Nitsch. The standard of competitive freediving rises each year, along with a number of recreational freedivers attracted to such a wonderful sport. Nowadays, there are many agencies providing high-quality freediving courses and tuition, something that could have never been imagined even 10 years ago.